Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I miss you all, and I hope these videos bring you back to class just a little bit to hear a familiar voice. So today we are going to work on Unit 12, Day 6. Now, if you have your packets that I gave you in class on the last day that we were together, the new Unit 12 packets, then yours will be good. Yours will have the formulas there and all the numbers. For some reason, if you printed it off of the Teams, when I uploaded the document, for some reason it did not print the formulas or the numbers for some problems, which is what I'm working with. So I actually just rewrote mine on a piece of paper. So it's just a little bit nicer and neater. Okay. So Day 6 basically is something that we all are probably going to deal with eventually. When you get older, it's real life. So it's calculating the future value of an annuity. So if you don't know what an annuity is, basically when you get older and you get a job and you are starting to think about retirement, which you should probably think about when you first start getting into your career or your job. Think about what's going to happen when you retire and you're not making your salary anymore. There is something called annuities. So basically every paycheck, every year, every month, you put a certain amount of money away into an account. It has an interest rate and it grows. So after 30 years or 35 years, when you retire, you have this account that has, a decent amount of money in it, depending on how much you put in, so that you can now live your life after you retire and you're not making your salary anymore. So that's basically what an annuity is. It's just another fancy word for a bank account. You just don't touch it until you are older and able to, and once you're retired. So the formula that we're going to use is this formula right here. So it says A subscript F equals R, big parentheses, numerator 1 plus I raised to the n power minus 1 all over I. So now if we look at what every letter means. So first off, on the left-hand side, AF just stands for the future value. So basically, if we put money away and we want to know how much is going to be there after 20 years, that would mean you're solving for the left-hand side, the AF. The R is your recurring payment. So that is going to be the payment that you put in every week, every paycheck, every month, every year, whatever you decide that you're going to put money into this. That's your R, recurring payment. Your I is your interest rate. Now, your interest rate is going to kind of go back to when we first did Day 1, where if we did monthly and we were compounded monthly, we needed to divide it by 12. You may need to do that with your interest rate. We'll get to that in the second example. And then N is the number of times you are going to put the money in. So the N is the number of pay periods. Okay? So a little confusing. The first thing that we need to make sure when we're doing these questions, everything must match. So your recurring payment, your interest rate, and your number of payments, they need to all be yearly, or they need to all be monthly, etc. Okay, so that's the most important thing about these numbers, or else you're going to get a number that doesn't make sense because they don't match up. Okay, so let's do the first one together, nice and slow. Now, this one it may be different from the one that if you're looking at your packet, just because I didn't have the numbers, so I obviously just made up numbers. So you're going to do the ones that I show you on the video. So it says find the future value of an annuity. Sorry, that's like a tongue twister. Of an annuity and the interest earned with annual payments of $2,000 for 30 years into an account that pays 5% interest per year. Now, the very first thing that I want to make sure is, does everything match up? So first off, annual means yearly. So that means every year I'm putting $2,000 into this account, which that is my R, my recurring payment. So my recurring payment is $2,000 every year for 30 years. So that matches years and years. So 30 years means that I'm going to be making $2,000 payments 30 times. So that is my N. That is my number of pay periods I'm going to be putting 30 amount of $2,000 into this account. And then it pays 5% interest per year. So again, that interest rate matches per year. So that becomes your I, your interest rate. And same thing we did when we were dealing with percents. You always need to move your decimals 2 places to the left. So that means my interest rate is 0.05. So that's all the numbers I need to figure out my future value. So this is a 2-part question because I do need to figure out the future value and also the interest that I earned. So I need to find the AF, or the future value, first before I can find the interest. So AF equals, go back to your formula. So it's your recurring payment, 2,000, parenthesis up top, 1 plus my interest rate, 0.05, close the parenthesis, raised to the N, which is 30. Then I have a big -1 after it. And then that whole thing is over your interest rate, which is 0.05. Now notice on the right-hand side, it's all numbers, which means you can plug the whole entire thing into your calculator. Now, if you have the calculator app that allows you to put in fractions, that would probably be your best bet, to put this whole thing in a fraction. If you don't and you need to kind of work it piece by piece, you would start in here, then work your way out. Okay, so I'm going to kind of work inside. So I'm going to do 1 plus 0.05, which is this number. I'm going to raise it to the 30th power. Make sure it's in parentheses. Then I'm going to -1 from that number. So basically now I have the numerator, 3.32, dot, dot, dot. Now I'm going to divide it by 0.05, which is 66.438, and then I'm going to times it by 2,000. I messed mine up. 1 plus 0.05 raised to the 30th, -1 divided by 0.05 times 2,000. Okay, so we're dealing with money. Doesn't tell us what to round to, so that means we're just going to give it to, you know what, let's round everything to the nearest whole number. So it's 1,332,877. 100,032, 1,000, how come I can't say that number? 132,877, there you go. Actually 38, because the 6 is going to round that to an 8. Okay? So that is your future value of your annuity. So after 30 years, your annuity will have that much money in it. But you have to also remember that you're putting in money into this account. Okay? So you have your money that you're putting in, plus you have the interest that you're earning. So the interest that you're earning is like your free money. To figure out the interest that you're earning, first off, we need to we're putting in $2,000 30 times, right? We're putting in $2,000 a year for 30 years. So 2,000 times 30 means you're putting in $60,000. So $60,000 of that money is your money. You put it in every year. So to figure out how much interest you earn, you take your future value of your annuity and you subtract out how much you put in. And guess what? That'll tell you how much interest you got from the bank. So you made $72,878 in interest. So you actually made more money in interest. You were given more money than you actually put into this account. Okay, so that's how most of these questions are going to be. They're going to be 2-part questions. First, you use the formula to find the future value. Then you figure out, well, how much money did I actually put in? So really, you just take your R and your N and you multiply. That tells you how much you put in. And then you subtract those two values to figure out your interest. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do one more for you. So find the future value of an annuity and the interest earned with monthly payments of $200 for 5 years into an account that pays 6% interest compounded monthly. So the first question we did, everything was in terms of years. For this question, every single variable needs to be in terms of monthly for everything to match. Okay? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just write down my formula so I have it on this page. 1 plus I to the n minus 1 over I. Now, our recurring payment is monthly. We are making monthly payments of $200. So our R is 200. Now, our N is how many times we are making that payment. We're doing it for 5 years. That doesn't match. 200 is monthly. 5 is years. So I'm not only making 5 payments of 200, I'm making 5 years times 12 months, right? So your N is 5 times 12, which means you're making 60 monthly payments, 60 payments in that 5 years. So now monthly. So now all I need to do is make sure my interest rate matches. So I'm paying 6%, so that's 0.06. per year, but it's compounded monthly, which means I need it to match. So if this is monthly, this is monthly. This 0.06 is yearly. So in order for it to match and become months, I need to divide it by 12 to make it monthly, because there are 12 months in a year. So now when I look at my numbers, monthly, everything matches up. Now I can plug it in. So the future value is going to be 200 parentheses again, 1 plus. Your interest rate is 0.06 over 12 now, raised to the n, raised to the 60, minus 1 over your interest rate again on the bottom should just be 0.06 over 12. So notice how when you change it from yearly, annually to monthly, it becomes a little bit harder of a formula because of this right here. You have 2 fractions here and here. So if you have the newer calculator app, you need to do alpha fraction here and here. Okay, if not, you need to do it separately, but you need to be careful. So I'm going to work from the inside out. So I'm going to do 0.06 divided by 12, which is this number. 0.06 divided by 12. I'm going to add 1 to it. I'm going to raise that to the 60th power, and then I'm going to subtract 1 from that. Now I have my numerator. Now I'm going to divide it by parentheses 0.06 divided by 12, which is 69.77 number, and then finally I'm going to times it by 200. So my future value is 13,954 if we round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so that's your future value after 5 years. Now again, remember to get your interest. You take your R value, which is $200, and times it by however many you're making. So we're making 60 payments of $200. So 200 times 60 is $12,000 you are actually putting in yourself. So now take your future value, subtract out your money that you put in, which means your interest that you earned is only $1,954 on this account. That is your interest. Okay? So, you do not have to hand these 2 questions in. They are just for you to practice, and I will post the answers a little later today. So really for this week, the only thing that you needed to hand in to me for your effort grade was the Newton's Law, which you handed in already. If you handed in already, it was technically due this morning at 9 a.m. Okay, so here's your 2 practice problems. You have one that's annual and one that's monthly, so it pretty much matches the ones that I just did for you. Okay, I will also take a picture and post it on the wall on the team so that you also can see it there. Okay, I hope everyone has a good day. Bye.